Hello and welcome to HW News. The coronavirus crisis and subsequent lockdown has broken the back of India's economy, and we are still struggling to grapple with the reality. But the most pressing issue for middle class people like you and me is the loan moratorium. The moratorium announced by the RBI on loan repayment technically ended on August 31st, but it will extend further or not. There is a lot of confusion, and with every passing day, the confusion gets bigger and bigger. There is a plea pending in the Supreme Court which sought that no interest should be charged during the moratorium as citizens were facing extreme hardship. In the subsequent hearings, the Supreme Court gave two important orders. First, during the last hearing, the Supreme Court had ordered that accounts that have not been declared non-performing assets as on August 31 should not be declared so until it finishes hearing the plea. Second important order came out today whereby the Supreme Court extended the loan moratorium period till September 28. But this essentially means that the top court has given 2 more weeks to the centre to come up with a concrete plan regarding loan moratorium. To discuss what this order means, especially for the banks as well as for the customers, the borrowers, we have with us Mr. Vishwas Utagi. He is former General Secretary, Maharashtra State Bank Employees Federation and Vice President of All India Bank Employees Association. So welcome to HW News. My question is, what exactly today's order means for the borrowers, and can we see it as some kind of interim relief for at least 1 more month?
As I interpret this Supreme Court decision,
Hmm.
see, up to 10th of September, Supreme Court says that no bank should show the NPA for any kind of a borrower, whether the individual or small scale industrialist or anybody. Now the question is, this particular order has been extended right up to 28th of September this month. So the Reserve Bank of India and Government of India got 2 weeks time to finalize the things. Now what the Supreme Court has said today, the Reserve Bank of India decision-making papers should be placed before the court to understand what exactly Reserve Bank of India means. Now here is a question that the borrowers definitely want time. And the borrowers, they want time because most of the borrowers who have availed this 6 months EMI postponement or deferment, they have availed this because they had no money with them or their jobs they have lost. Now the question is, those who have got the jobs but then they were finding it difficult to repay, they also thought, let us utilize this particular facility so that they can save some money in the times of crisis. Now, this has led a banking crisis altogether, which is a very magnificent by the size. And this is not being discussed in the Supreme Court. This is not being discussed in the media also. The magnitude of the crisis in the banking system, one is borrowers are facing problem of non-payment. That is their individual crisis, maybe in the industry, maybe in their household. But then banks, when they are not getting 6 months payments, is a question after 31st August, that is 180 days are over. After 90 days itself, the bank should have shown NPA, but the RBI allowed 3 months to make 6 months. So it should have shown. Now the 3rd September order is, don't show it. Don't show it is the order of Supreme Court. Normally, who should say it? It is the Reserve Bank of India who should say it. That don't show. We are restructuring the accounts. Since Reserve Bank of India did not say anything on that, they were discussing among themselves because Government of India is in the picture because of the pandemic order of 24th of March. Therefore, the crisis is blowing up. If I don't show the NPA, then how I should treat my next quarter balance sheet? These are the questions.
Well, the RBI has already made it very clear that any interest accruing on these loans for this period would be payable, and if at all these interests are waived, it will put banks at a risk. Now, we have spoken about the borrowers, but we also need to understand, as you rightly said, what is exactly going on with the banks. We are in an unprecedented crisis, sir. What stops RBI from giving a waiver on interest for the moratorium period as well? And what exactly does it mean for the bank employees?
Right now, I will not comment on the question of bank employee, but
Hmm.
my main concern is how the banking industry will survive in the face of the present decision making of Reserve Bank of India Governor,
Hmm.
Minister of Finance, and of course Supreme Court of India. Now, let us look at one thing. My point of view is if 31st August is postponed up to 28th of September, then obviously the banks cannot show it as NPA, and banks are also not showing it as a restructured account. In any case, from the banker's point of view, in a normal way, if the bank repayment is not coming for after 90 days or 180 days, so bank should immediately get instructions from the RBI for restructuring. RBI allow them to restructure all the accounts. Then there is a requirement of a provision from 10% to 30% on all those restructured accounts from March 1, 2020 to 31st August 2020. Because this facility was available only for this 6 months period. Now the question is, if it is to be extended for 3 months or 6 months, that is the prerogative of the Government of India as well as Reserve Bank of India.
Hmm.
But then making the provisions against the account has to be, that decision has to come from the Reserve Bank of India. So banks are facing in that situation how their balance sheet will show in the next quarter because the non-payment of 6 MIs in the publisher bank, it amounts to something like, I will not quantify it, but I can very well say 80% of the good loans are not to be recovered. Then there has to be a provision. If it is NPA, then 100%. If it is not NPA, then 10% to 30%. This is for the public sector banks. Come to the private sector banks. All the private sector banks, almost 40 to 45% of the borrowers have availed this facility. Come to the foreign banks. Almost 10 to 15% of the borrowers have availed this facility. Come to the cooperative banking sector, urban cooperative, multi-state cooperative. They have availed to the extent of 50 to 60% of the borrowers. Now, if NPA showed, that means the bank's backbone is virtually broken. Bank shutters will be down. If the provision is shown, then also there is no money to show the provision in the banking system, whether the good bank or the other bank. The good banks will collapse, the bad banks will be shut down. This is going to be the next situation in the immediate quarter balance sheet. Now, there was a discussion in the Supreme Court last time on 3rd September that the RBI and the government is prepared to give 2 years moratorium.
Actually, the center said, replying to the Supreme Court, that the loan moratorium can be extended up to 2 years. So, can that really happen? And if it happens, hypothetically, if it actually happens, what will be the consequences for the banks?
The borrowers will be happy temporarily because they don't have money with them. Industrialists, small industrialists, they will be happy. They don't have money at their disposal. They are willing to pay because they were the standard assets. They were the good paymasters for the bank. Since the government and the RBI allowed them from 1st March to August 6 months, so they have taken this opportunity. Now they are not in a position, they want further time. So if the government gives the time, then the question is, who will bear the interest portion of that? Because the crux of the matter in the court, Supreme Court, is interest on interest charged by the banks, and some applicant, petitioner says, we don't want to give the interest on interest during this moratorium period. Supreme Court should help us. Supreme Court has taken a positive view in their favor, saying that why you charge interest on interest, but then the banking system says it is interest on interest. That is banking. That is their earning, and banks survive on that. Now, if the Supreme Court says somebody should bear it, because who declared the lockout? The central government. Who declared the moratorium? Reserve Bank governor. So both of them should bear the interest portion. Then what will happen? My point is the central government, which is not giving the GST component to the respective state governments. They say we don't have money. So where from the money will come from the central government to pay the interest portion of this entire gamut of deferment of EMI to the public sector, private sector, foreign sector, and cooperative sector banking? It's a huge amount. It becomes something like 40 lakh crores. 40 lakh crores is a fantastic amount which government of India, when they declared the 20 lakh crore package, it was 10% of the total GDP. Now 20 lakh crores or 40 lakh crores is something mind-boggling. So government of India won't be able to bear that interest burden. So they are in a jam. RBI cannot say to the government, you bear it. RBI cannot say that the bank should waive it. And certainly bank cannot waive it. Borrowers will be happy. But then borrowers will depend upon the government's declaration of moratorium and relief given by them. So the ball is in the court of Government of India and of course Reserve Bank of India. But then if the negative decision is taken, then the banking industry is going to be suffering, and that suffering will be a very serious one.
Well, definitely the ball is in the court of Government of India. But then if we look at the series of events, the government seems to be dragging its feet on the issue. What happens if they don't come up with a solution in the next 2 weeks?
I don't think the government of India will come. Because when the Prime Minister and Finance Minister is not giving their share of GST collection to the respective state governments because they don't have funds, then where from the funds will come to the central government to pay the interest quantum to the banks for the moratorium period? And therefore, this is a very crucial question. So they want to have, I don't know what can be the solution. So they came with a solution, 2 years time, we can drag the moratorium period. But what about the, how should I frame my balance sheet as a bank or B bank or C bank? How I should frame my quarterly balance sheet, half yearly balance sheet and March 21 balance sheet, where I have to show a provision arising out of my profit, or if I am a loss-making bank, then I have to pre-book my losses, but I have to provide that either to a 10% to 30% provision. If it is NPA, then I have to show 100%. Then I am finished as a bank. A good bank will become to a crumbling down dust, to the dust, and a weak bank will come to the dust. A good bank also collapse.
As I said, it
So
is
then the question is, while declaring the lockout on 24th March and while declaring the moratorium on 27 March, we cannot say that the government was benevolent. Government was certainly benevolent. RBI was certainly benevolent and considerate, but they must be fully aware of what is happening after 3 months, what is happening after 6 months, and now you see what has happened after 31st August. So, repercussions government has not considered, I cannot say so. But repercussions has to be borne by the government of India and the Reserve Bank of India, which is right now they are in a fix because Supreme Court is inclined to consider interest on interest should not be charged. This is indicative, and that's why they said it is the last chance we are giving on 28th of September. So this is a question. But my point is, I'm a banker and I'm also a depositor. I'm a banker and a depositor. In both ways, if the bank collapses, then the depositor is collapsing. So depositors' money become unsafe in the banking industry. I'm more concerned about that. You asked me about the employees. Employees as such, the government of India, this central government has passed all the 4 codes in the central cabinet. The meaning of the passing of the 4 codes means the banks and the central government employees and all the organized workers are finished. Their definition as a worker is out. They will be deprived of a lot of good money of their earnings and also the jobs. So job security is gone. That's why I'm saying I'm not talking much on because the parliament is going to meet to decide about the 4 codes. So I'm not forecasting anything about that.
Definitely. As we also earlier said, it is an unprecedented crisis and it affects both the borrowers as well and the banks as well. As a former banker, what solution can be given in this situation that will not harm the interest of both borrowers and the bankers? What do you say, sir?
My point is, first, the bank should get survived. And who decides the NPA norms? It is decided at the international level. RBI has got a prerogative to say something on that, and the governor and the Reserve Bank board is competent to deal with such situation as they have dealt it from 1991. Since these norms have come, these norms are known as income recognition norms. So NPA concept has come only out of that. It is an international concept. So after 90 days non-repayment, how the asset is to be treated. Even now, I tell you, when this repayment schedule has been drawn, all these assets were standard assets. And even for the standard assets, all the banks have to provide 2% from their profits. 2%. Now, if it is going to be NPA, oh, then it is horrible. Already the banking system is grilling under 10 to 15% of a gross NPA, and all the important ratios, that return on asset, return on investment, their gross NPA, net NPA, their capital adequacy ratio, all these ratios are very much affected from 2015 to 2020. So in this situation, Government of India is amalgamating or merging some of their own units and making 4 or 5 banks. But according to me, your bank's doors are open, bank doors are shut, but banking is not taking place even in these 5 banks and in those merged banks and in all those standalone banks. Really speaking, let anybody say anything. Really speaking, there is no deposit mobilization, there is no effective recovery, and certainly there is no effective advances credit mobilization. When advances and credit mobilization is only to 3 and 4%, and in such a scenario, March 21 to August 31, 6 months EMI is stuck up, then the banks are shut down by the government itself. This is the implication of their decision making, and that's why we are worried. We want to save the banks first. If the banks are saved, the borrowers and depositors are saved. If banks are shut down, the depositors will lose their 130 crore, because 130 lakh crore is a total deposit in the banking system. If the banking industry is collapsing, then the insurance aspect of this 130 lakh crore depositors is not beyond 5 lakh. The Government of India and the Reserve Bank of India is ensuring and assuring the depositors that don't worry, your money is safe to the extent of 5 lakh. But if the bank is finished by owner, either private sector or the cooperative or the central government itself, then what will happen to the security of the money which belongs to the anybody in this country? We stand by safety of all the depositors in the banking system, and so far the belief is the public sector banking depositors are the most safe, 100% safe. Today, they have become unsafe. That is really the question, right? That is really the concern of the depositors and the concern of employees. I have already said it.
So you mean to say that we have to save the banks first to save the depositors' interest?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us on this conversation. Let's hope that the government listens to these points and acts on it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.